Welcome guys, today I'm going to be showing you what you will need to set up your LED box display. So first you're going to need a 12 amp power supply with an adapter to plug in the cables. It comes with extra adapters, but those will not be needed. And the next will be our Brock, which is going to be our power controller. It's going to be 12 amps as well. So this is the hardest part of the whole setup, which is removing the cover on the plastic. And next is going to be to attach the heatsink. So we're going to remove the cover. And then we're just going to align it. And we're going to press it. And then we're going to make sure it stays there. And the next part will be to put the screws on. So the small screws, they go on top. The bigger ones are going to go on the bottom. Once all four are on, we're going to put the cover on top. Once that's done, you're going to have one extra screw. We're going to put it in the back and put it away. Now we're going to loosen the connectors where the cables go on. We're going to loosen the screws on the adapter, put the cables on. And then we're going to make sure the screws are tight. Once that's done, we're going to connect the power supply cables to our Brock. We're going to connect it. Turn the power supply on. As you can, right there, I have it at 3 volts, which is not enough. It's not enough voltage to power it. So I'm going to increase the volt. I'm going to increase it to max, which is 12 volts. We're going to press the button, the top button, and it out says 0. But when we turn it on, it says 11 volts. And we don't want that. It's too much. We want 3 volts. Turn it to 3 volts. Because our LED boxes are 3 volts. So it must be 3 volts. If it's higher than 3 volts, we will fry the LEDs. So we're going to set it up to 3 volts. That screw is for volts. The other screw is for our amp. But the amps, we just need to make sure it's high enough to power the LEDs. But the volts is the most important part in this setup. Make sure it's below 3 volts. Right here I have it at 2.7 volts. Which is enough to keep the LEDs. Which is enough to make the LEDs light up enough. Now we're going to test it. I'm going to connect my LED box. I'm going to hit the bottom button. And you see when it's green, it's on. When it's off, the lights goes off. As you can see, the power source works fine. So once we have it below 3 volts, our box is good to go. Right here, I'm going to connect it to my power cable, to my LED boxes. And make sure you have everything off before you connect anything. Once you're done, connect your power source and it will light up immediately. And right here is how to install your wall display box LED. So it's important to start from bottom to top to make the process easier, because if you start top to bottom, process is much harder. So as you can see right here, I've started from the bottom our first row has two cables. One is the main cable, the one ending right there is the main cable, and then our loose cable, the long one, that's gonna be our cable that splits power between our two rows of LED boxes to make sure every LED has almost the same amount of current flowing into it. And then once we put our second row, we connect it to the endpoint. And then we just make sure we hide the cables behind. And here again, a new row starts. So there you go, our main line. And then we're gonna hide our cable behind, or loose cable behind. And then we're gonna connect our other line to the loose cable. Make sure everything's connected. And now we're gonna put him on the wall. And then we're gonna repeat again. And then we're gonna start another line. We're gonna hide the cables. In this case, I don't have another line, so I'm just gonna connect them. Just show you guys how the setup works. So right there we have our main power line, and I have these connectors. Just slide the cables in and clip. So you will need some pliers to connect the connectors to the wire. And then after that, just easy, just slide the cables in and clip it. Once you're done, check that you have black to black, red to red connectors connected. Okay, now for a quick overview. First, you're gonna need a power source, your Brock, both have to be 12 amp. Once you have them connected, set your Brock to 3 volts. That's gonna be the output. Input is your power source, which is gonna be 12 volts. Output is what's gonna be needed to power your LED boxes, which is 3 volts. So make sure it's 3 volts or below 3 volts. And then our cables are gonna be 16 AWG, which is good enough for 8 amps. In this case, we're gonna be running it at 70%, so it's gonna be 5.6 amps. That's because we don't want the cables to overheat over time in long-term uses. So the maximum of LEDs is 60. If you're running at 3 volts, make sure your room temperature or the area temperature it's cool enough so that your LEDs won't burn out. If you want to add more LEDs, just exchange your 16 AWG main cable that connects to your Brock to a thicker cable, and you could add more depending on what wire you buy.